And we are live. You can catch us on YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Kick, Facebook, and now X. We're on X Live now.
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, a lot more platforms. We will be going probably on Party soon. It's Party Live. It's another one. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and
That's
we'll be right
huge.
back with you, Howlers. Be right back. Howls over Baaz. I'm Jacob Casas.
AJ Gonzalez.
And today, this is our boxing segment, H.O.B. boxing. And how many episodes do you think we're in now?
I think this is our sixth episode?
6
I
episodes?
want to say, right? 6?
We're killing it, guys. Let us know if you think we're killing it. If not, we're going to keep doing it anyways. But we appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you guys liking and subscribing. And Facebook fans, you guys, and trolls, we love you guys too because you guys get us paid
keep 'em
too.
coming,
So
keep 'em
yeah,
coming.
just keep working for us, trolls. But today we have 2 very special guests, and I'm going to have you guys introduce your guys' self to our audience. Tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. My name is Nathan Rodriguez, 21 years old, professional boxer out of Pico Rivera, California. So, yeah, we're here today.
Pico.
We're here today on this podcast, so I'm excited. I'm excited.
Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
What's up? Yeah. How's it going, everybody? My name is Marvin Rodriguez. I'm a boxing promoter, president and CEO of Marvin Nation Promotions. We've done shows all over the world, and we're looking for the future world champions.
Well, welcome to the show.
And thank you for the hats, by the way.
Yeah. You guys can check out these hats right here. He gave us these
Yeah.
hats, and they're fly as hell. We love them.
We got to represent. We got to represent.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. And we're going to be asking them questions. So anything you guys want to ask them, you guys can throw in the comments, and we'll read them off. Not everything, because we know you guys be talking shit on there. So we're going to be going. But yeah, you want to start us off, Adrian? Let's go.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about your career. So you're a boxer, right?
Mhm.
You're 20-0. How'd you get started?
I,
Now, I know your dad has a background obviously in the boxing game, right?
yeah.
So we'll get to that, but what influenced you? What got you motivated to say, you know what? I want to crack some faces.
Now, originally it started with my brother. I have
Okay.
an older brother. He started boxing first. He was always a little troublemaker in school, so he was always fighting and
was
stuff
he?
like that.
I said, who wasn't? I think we all were.
When
Yeah,
it comes to
so-
the boxing community, yeah.
Yeah.
so
They always start as that.
yeah, so he was always fighting and stuff like that, and my dad, I think actually he told you he wanted to, was it him, right?
Box, yeah.
Yeah, he said he wanted to get into boxing,
Okay.
and obviously boxing is a sport that disciplines, you need a lot of discipline, stuff like that. It'll humble you too,
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
stuff like that. So, he ended up boxing first. I think at the time I was playing baseball. I had played baseball for a while, so I was doing that. And I always liked to play different sports. I did basketball, I did baseball, and some other sports too. And I told my parents, I was like, hey, I wanna join too,
Yeah.
But they didn't even
You
want
wanna
my
join the
older
family
brother.
business.
Yeah, they didn't want him to join at first, because
Uh-huh.
boxing is dangerous. It's a dangerous sport. It's something you can't play, And at the time, I think I was about 12 years old, So I told them, I was like, man, I want to start boxing too,
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're not gonna box, you're not gonna box. And I just kept pressuring them, and finally they ended up letting me, into the gym. And I never pictured myself, continuing to box or even making this a career,
Right.
I just did it at first just to try it out. I always like doing different sports. And I think after, I want to say about a week into training, they had put me to spar. And after that, I fell in love with it. I kept going. At the age of 16 is when I turned pro professionally.
Okay.
And that was around the time of COVID. So over here in the United States, everything was closed. But you also have to be 18 to be professional here. So at that time, we had a gym in Montebello. I was running the gym too, actually. And every day during COVID, I was there by myself, just training hard.
Okay.
And, I had told my dad that I wanted to go pro, and we made the decision. He took me to Costa Rica. I made my professional debut in Costa Rica. I did about many fights over there? I did like 5 or 6. I also did some in Mexico too.
Yeah.
And when I turned 18 is when I did my homecoming here, my pro debut. in the USA.
Nice.
So
Nice.
here we are today, 20-0. You know, we're still going strong, so we're excited for the future.
And how is it as a dad, you know, knowing that your son wants to be a boxer and you're a boxing promoter?
Yeah.
So where's the how'd you manage to do that?
Well, it's crazy, man. It's a crazy feeling to see your son up there, you know. And to be honest with you, I got into boxing promotion because of my boys. So he's right. I didn't want either the first one or him to be a boxer. And either one of my sons, I was like, no son of mine is going to be a boxer because I come from a real estate background.
Yeah.
You know, so I know how to make money, and it's not difficult to make it, and you don't got to get hurt, you know? So when they came to me like, well, my older son first, I want to become a boxer, like, no son of mine is ever going to be boxing. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
And you're going to be sitting in the office getting paid, you know? So he got in first, and then the little one started like, hey, I want to box too, Dad. I'm like, oh, no way. But it is crazy because obviously, you know, you're worried about them getting hurt, especially like you said, he went pro at 16.
Yeah, very young.
My first son went pro at 18, and it was a little bit. I was worried, but it's like you see him getting bigger and stronger. You know, at 16, he was still a little skinny thing. You know what I mean? So it's always, you know, it was always a worry for me, and then especially when you're promoting the fight. And these fighters that come, they don't know that that's your son because I'm not going around, oh, this is my son.
Right.
And they were like, I'm going to beat that little kid. I'm going to hurt him.
And you could hear it.
Yeah. And he's fighting men that are 29, 28, 27, 25. Because in the pros, it doesn't matter how old you are. It's the weight. It's by weight.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes to match him up because, you know, he was fighting at 122. Those are the lighter weights are harder to match. So you kind of got to go with whatever you find at the time. And they were like 27, 29. I was like, I don't know. That's a grown man. That's manpower, you know?
Yeah.
And he's a little kid. So, and they would tell me, yeah, I'm going to destroy him. I'm going to beat him. So, yeah, my heart would be pounding the whole fight.
Yeah.
But
would you be talking shit to them even though you're the promoter?
Nah.
That's
the thing.
No, but behind closed doors.
Well, you know what? I would just tell them, like, keep your hands up. Be smart. These people want to destroy you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, right away, his first fight was a first round knockout. Second fight was a first round knockout. Like he showed his discipline and he's got power in those hands. Too.
Oh yeah. I seen that fight in the one that you did in Costa Rica. That was on the zone, right? No.
Not
No,
in
that
Costa
was
Rica,
no. Costa Rica, that wasn't on the zone. Which one was the one that was on the zone?
We had a couple that was on the zone. I think it was in Long Beach.
Yeah. It was Long Beach.
Most of his, I would say maybe last 4 or 5 fights have been on the zone.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, so he's been fighting on the zone basically for the last year and a half.
How do you feel to be 20-0? Like, how does that feel?
Man, I mean, sometimes, I still can't, like, you know, believe it, you know, and how to explain this, like, I don't really think about it like, man, I'm 20-0, and I don't really let it get to my head, you know, because I know there are some fighters that it starts to get in their head, and then sometimes they think, like, they're this and that, you know, and that's when sometimes they start lacking in the training. Humbled. Exactly. They start lacking in the training. They think, like, I could beat everybody and this and that, but that's where, in reality, they start to, you know, fall when you start to think like that. So I always, you know, I don't really pay attention, like, as far as my record, like, man, I'm 20-0, you know, every fight, I just train hard, you know, like, if it's a championship fight, you know, I go in there giving everything, and, you know, it's just, here I am today, like I said, 20-0, so.
I like that mindset. It keeps you on your toes.
And think about this. Like, he was 20-0 when he was 20 years old. Obviously, he just turned 21. So how many 20-year-olds you know that have a record of 20-0?
Not a lot.
You know, usually you're barely fighting your first fight, second fight. You're going pro at 18, 19, sometimes even 20. You know, at 18 years old, he fought on the Canelo card.
Yeah, I remember that.
When he fought John Ryder, he was fighting a 10-round fight at 18 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
How was that fighting?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, and an 18-round fight. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it was a crazy experience because, you know, the stadium was big, you know, the Chivas Stadium. I think when I fought, because I was the first one to open up the pay-per-view, so I think at that time it was about 25,000 people. It was like halfway full.
It's still a lot.
Yeah, no, it's still a lot of people. So I'm thinking like, man, I'm going to probably be nervous or I'm going to, you know, feel some sort of way. But now when I was walking to the ring, you know, I felt good. I felt calm. I felt, what's that word? I felt like just ready, you know, and I went into that fight. Actually, I went into that fight with a injured. I think it was a left hand. I had got hurt, and I was trying to see if if I went through with the fight or if I pull out. But it was a big card, a big opportunity. I was like, I can't miss this opportunity.
Yeah.
So I went into that fight like that, 10 rounds. A veteran guy, had a lot of experience. But it was a great fight. It was definitely a blessing, a great opportunity, and it was just amazing overall.
I mean, just fighting in Mexico and then in Guadalajara at the Chivas Stadium, like that's historical, and on a Canelo Ryder card.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was definitely something
Because Canelo made history with that fight.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like fighting in his home,
Yep.
in Jalisco.
That's our hometown too in Mexico, so it was like a double blessing, because we.
Oh, you guys are from Jalisco too?
From
Oh yeah.
Guadalajara,
Yeah. I'm from Jalisco too.
So we had family that came over and everything, so we're like
Dang.
at home anyways.
They're probably screaming in that crowd.
That's badass. That's badass. Now, did that motivate you even more? Like, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody gets motivated by that. Like I said, it was a great opportunity. And it just showed me that, that was just the beginning, that there's so much more to be accomplished and greater things to be accomplished. So definitely motivated me to keep training hard, and that obviously that, I never pictured myself, fighting on a Canelo card, 18 years
badass.
old.
Yeah.
I was just a young kid out of Pico, and then fighting on a Canelo card, it was crazy. So
But he did the camp. That camp he actually did with Canelo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
Eddie
going to be
Reynoso.
my next question.
Yeah.
How was it being in camp with Canelo? And I seen that you were training with Eddie Reynoso.
yeah, I was with him, I think, for about 2 years.
Yeah.
About 2 years, and it was just, it was crazy. It was cool experience. Being in the gym with Canelo every day, one of the greats, one of the
Yeah.
best, and just learning, picking off his brain and stuff like that. So it was definitely an amazing experience.
If you could say if there's one thing that you take from being with Canelo, what is that? Like, what type of motivation did he give you? Like what kind of words did he give you? I'm
just
even over here trying to find the words to how to say. But like, what is it that he told you? Like, as far as like skills, like what you took from that and implemented that into your next fights.
what I got from him, and some things he also told me is, just always work hard, and that's what I got from him. He was always working hard. Just sparring, his bag work, the training with Eddie, everything was always just giving it all, and that's something that I learned, and obviously that's the reason why he's at where he's at, because of his work ethic, so
Yeah.
His discipline.
definitely.
Advice. That's what I was looking for. The word that I was looking for. What
Discipline.
advice did he give you that stuck with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is it? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering. So where do you keep? What I was wondering is, because you seem like humble about it. You're like saying, I'm keeping that to the side. Where did you learn that skill? Like, did you get that from your dad? Like, how are you able to say, I'm 20-0, but I'm just gonna push that aside and just keep training like if it's the first fight?
That's a good question.
I would say, I'm big on my faith. Faith is one of the things that I'm big on, and
That's
obviously,
good.
in the word, it says, to always be humble, that those who humble themselves will be exalted. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled, So obviously, that's something that I always keep in mind, the word of God. That's something that's helped me to mature today, helped me make a lot of good decisions, and honestly, it's all God, definitely.
It doesn't feel like I'm talking to a 21-year-old.
Yeah. So God is what keeps you grounded.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do anything that I've been able to do today, So all the glory,
Amen.
it belongs to God.
I like that. And where'd you learn that from?
From my father, great man, great leader, a great, somebody I look up to, and I'm just very thankful. I got blessed with an amazing dad.
That's dope.
Yeah, because I mean, you could see that the mindset that you've taught him, it leaked onto him.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel, knowing, how he's looking at life and how his record is and how his fights are? How does that make you feel, watching him look at life the way he does?
Obviously, when you become a father, you want the best for your kids, and sometimes, there's some kids that understand that and they take advantage of all the opportunities they have, and there's some kids that don't.
Right.
And to me, it makes me happy, and, for me to be able to see where he's going. He's so mature, such a young age. That's the only reason why I let him go pro at 16, because, like you said, he's been very mature. Even when I said, no, you're not fighting, he was getting ready
He
for a
was trying to
fight.
prove to you that he can do it.
Yeah, and I had other fighters that were scheduled to fight, but they're like, nah, it's a pandemic. We don't want to fight. You know, it's like nobody's going to be there. I don't want to fight. And I would see him training like he's getting ready to fight, and I'm like, whoa, this kid really wants it. So let's give him an opportunity. But it makes me happy. I mean, obviously, that's the happiness of any father, any parent, to see your kid being successful, being mature, growing, and enjoying those things in life that come your way by making good decisions in your life.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that because, I mean, a lot of people, they let everything get to them, the fame, whatever, the girls, all that stuff. You know, it all comes. There's so much that comes with it. They let it get to them, and then they start falling off.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're saying you're keeping God first, and that's huge. You know, and on this podcast, I like when people just go ahead and say what they want to say.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people always try to hold back on other podcasts because they don't think they need to get into that.
Right.
But you can get into whatever you guys want to on this one.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you separate Nathan the boxer and Nathan your son?
Ooh, that's right there.
You know what? I guess because, you know, I set those standards. Like, look, when it's business, I tell them, look, because we work together, many things, you know, not only in boxing now, but, you know, in other ventures that we're doing, other things. And I tell them, I'm really hard on them. I'm like, you know what? Because I'm trying to teach you. We're going to separate, you know, you're my son. And the reason I tell you these things, and sometimes in a hard way, is because I want you to be better.
Right.
I want you to learn. So this is business. When we cross this line, it's business. When we're dealing with family situations, now, you know, it's family. But, you know, we separated that and made it clear, like I tell them, if we're going to get into boxing, you got to be 100%. If you're not 100%, you know, I don't care if you're my son. I'm not going to put you in a place just because you're my son.
Right.
You know, even in
Gotta earn
baseball,
it.
even in baseball, when we would play baseball, I was always the manager, the coach of the team. And, you know, they always call it daddy ball, right?
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
just heard that term
that's-
today, too.
That's my son. I'm going to put him into pitch because he was a really good pitcher, really good player all around. But I would tell him, hey, if you don't work hard, if you're not on your best game, I don't care if you're my son. I won't put you in, or I'll take you right out if you're not doing any good, you know? So I kind of taught him, you got to earn yours. Nobody's going to give you anything. Even me as a dad, I'm like, you have to earn it with me, you know? Because that's the only way you're going to value it and keep it.
Now, was it intimidating, like trying to prove to your dad that you could be a boxer knowing who your dad is? You know, that he's been doing shows, you know, he's well known out here. Like, was that more pressure on you?
No, I don't think so. I didn't feel.
I was gonna say nah, heck nah. You
no
can see it in his
pressure at
face.
all,
Yeah.
I mean,
He was ready for me to stop.
He's all nah, man. That's
Nah.
my pops, dude.
just you know, naturally, my family, you know, we're very athletic, you know, so working hard is something that's just in us, you know, so that's something that it was just natural, you know. I didn't have to force it. It wasn't fake, you know. It just continued to happen. I believe that, you know, the records and the fight, you know, obviously they speak for themselves, you know, and that speaks a lot because obviously when you get into the ring, like I said, boxing is something you can't play, you know, or mess around. You know, it's two guys, you know, trying to beat each other's head off, you know, so you got to go in there ready. So
Yeah, that's true. So let's talk about how you got started in the promotional game.
Man, that's a crazy story. But like I mentioned, I have a background in real estate, right? And one day I'm just like, you know what? I want to do something different. You know, I'm tired of building houses, fixing houses, flipping houses. I'm tired of that.
Right.
I want to travel the world. I want to go out and work, make money, traveling. So I got into music promotion first.
Okay.
I did a couple of shows. I got an invitation with some people to invest in a couple of shows. Some of the biggest artists in that time, like 2017, Nicky Jam was the hottest reggaeton artist. I took him to Canada, Montreal, Toronto.
Nice.
A few other, you know, big name artists that we were working with. Obviously, the pandemic, you know, started coming in,
Right.
and that side of it stopped. But at the same time, you know, my first son wanted to go pro, and like you said, he was a little troublemaker at school, getting into fights, getting into situations. So I decided to put him into a boxing gym because he kept asking me, I want to box. Because he was like 12, 13, 14. I was like, nope, no son of mine is ever going to box.
Right.
But by this time, he's 16 years old, and it's like, okay, I need to put him into something to keep him busy because if
Right.
not, you know. And I put him in the gym. At 18, he said, I want to go pro. But he wasn't going to graduate from high school because of his grades. I said, listen, I'm going to make a deal with you. If you graduate, I'm going to become your manager. I'll help you promote you. I'll get you fights, and you can go pro. And I don't know how he pulled it off, man, but with like a month and a half left, bro, you know, he pulled it off.
It's in your guys' blood, dude, just to win.
To win.
Hey, I like how you guys push each other.
You know,
Like, you know what I mean?
and he graduated.
And it's healthy competition. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, for sure. All my kids, I got three
Yeah.
girls. They were all, you know, basketball stars, volleyball stars.
That's awesome.
Like you said, our kids are very athletic, you know, so
That's awesome.
that's a blessing. But at that point, you know, he said, okay, I graduated now. Now it's time for you to help me. And because of the people that I knew, I said, it's simple. I'll make some calls. I'll call some of these big promoters, and, you know, they're going to go ahead and put my son on a call. You don't understand the game, but boxing is like, you know, if you don't have a big amateur background, or if you don't have, you know, somebody big behind you, basically, you don't get that same opportunity that those people have.
That's
you know?
true.
So, you know, obviously it was like, yeah, we'll put them on, but that's all I got. Yeah, and it would never happen. Or it was like, you know what, take them to Mexico, get them some fights, and then we'll bring them back.
Tijuana.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So I said, you know what, I had just came off promoting some of the biggest stars, music stars and stuff, and I was like, well, I just promoted some huge stars and had no knowledge in music business, and I got myself into that. I don't know nothing about boxing, the boxing business, but you know what, I'm gonna start this company for my kid. You know,
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's what I did. I started, you know, Marv Nation was to be able to get him, you know, busy and get his career
Give him a
going,
platform.
give him basically the opportunity. And not only him, but then I saw it like, look, there's a whole bunch of kids that need an opportunity. Kids that come from the barrios, from the neighborhood, from the hood, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And they're in the same situation as them. The only thing is they don't have a dad who's in real estate that could put money behind them or start a company. And I said, you know what? We're going to open up this opportunity to all these kids that need an opportunity. And that's what we did. Marvin Nation, you know, we started with that vision of just continuing to give. And we've built fighters that, you know, that have blown up. You know, we have fighters, we have made a few female world champions and stuff. So people that would have never had an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. And I've been there personally, you know, doing on the media side over there covering, you know. I covered a lot of your events. Yeah.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you for the support.
Yeah. Oh,
sure,
of course,
man.
Of course, man. I just never had a hat to really. Now that I got the hat, I'm like,
He's all, I want a shirt now.
yeah, I want a shirt. And then I want a pin. You know, no, definitely. Like, when is it that you started Marv Nation? What year?
It was 2019, if I'm not mistaken. 2019.
2019.
Dang. That's like not that long ago.
No,
It's not.
Yeah.
Dude. And they were doing shows like at least every month.
Every month
they were doing shows.
Yeah, there was some years that we did shows every month here in the U.S. And then there was a year that we did about 40 shows internationally in the U.S., Mexico, Costa Rica. So we were doing shows in different cities. So.
You went, like, you put the pedal to the metal, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's big, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I want to say, like, how are you able to make that kind of dent quickly in that game?
You know what? When I started, it was someone who told me there's only way you can build a company and make it strong, either with time or with money. Right. And I said, I don't have a whole lot of time. So, you know, we said, you know what, we put our money where our mouth is, and we invested into something we believed, and we went in heavy. I mean, you know, there's been millions of dollars that have been invested in all these shows. We have probably over 70-something shows that we've done.
And we're not just talking about like just local shows.
Yeah,
dude.
no,
like, no. It's like it's been big shows
Yeah.
with big time fighters.
Yeah,
you know, like at the StubHub.
Well,
I remember that one.
We were exactly. Dignity Health. We did the fight with Regis
Prograde and
Sean Cepeda.
Yeah.
Yep. So you know we've been involved in some.
And then Fernando Vargas and all like Junior and all of them.
Yeah, Fernando Vargas Jr. He's signed to Marv Nation. You know.
Is he still signed?
Yeah, he's still signed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's still signed with us. He just fought.
Who is signed with is it
Amado Vargas, Fernando Vargas.
Yeah, because
yeah, they're still.
Oh, okay.
They're still with us. You know, the only thing is that, obviously, you know, I believe, you know, you can't keep people's growth, right?
Right.
And we got them into the lane where they needed to start, you know, to start building. Obviously, they have, you know, the legend behind them, their father, their name behind them. But, you know, they needed to be able to have that opportunity for people to see them fight and for them to build the records and to be put in a position to do that. And you know, that's what we did. And now it's like, we have bigger and bigger opportunities have come our way. I'm not going to stop anybody from growing. I'm not going to stop anybody from, reaching
I
where,
respect that.
because I see this business like in this way. I started this because I have kids who have a need, who had a need. And I see people who come in as a child of mine that has come in that needs help, needs a family behind him.
Right.
That's what we become. Marvin Nation is a family. In reality, that's, the people that have stayed with us and continue to work with us because we're a family. And it doesn't matter. I know that bigger and bigger things are coming. It's not about holding anybody back. It's not about me being bigger or me shining. You know what? You shine. That's what the whole purpose of.
I think there's a lot of room for all of us to win.
Absolutely. I mean, he just landed that big fight on the Canelo card versus Crawford.
Oh, Crawford. Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So at the end of the day, his victories, his opportunities, and him being on the biggest platform of boxing by, I don't know, I think it was like 70 million people that saw it on Netflix,
Yeah.
whatever it was. You know what? That's our win.
Yeah,
that's our
I
win
was just
too.
gonna say that. Yeah,
Our nation wins no matter what. Whether we're the front runners or we're not, it doesn't matter. Sometimes we're behind the scenes.
right.
Amala Vargas just fought in Dubai, and that was a
That was
heck of
that was intense.
that was intense.
With,
there was
what's
a
that
big-
dude? The Great
Dean the Great.
Dean the Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a lot of build up, a lot of stuff. I would have been there. I was supposed to be there, but like I said, my father passed away in
Yeah,
those days. So
condolences.
I appreciate that. So I wasn't able to travel because of that. But you know what? The show must go on. Like, hey, this is your time. It's not even about me. It's not about. It's about, let's just keep building,
Yeah.
and eventually everything will fall into place, and God will bless you and put you where He needs to put you.
because you know what? There'll be more fights later on anyway.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So where do you want to take this?
Man, I think just like everybody else, obviously, obviously becoming a world champion first. I think I also have some other things too that I want to do with my career. Obviously, I want to use my career, my platform, whatever it is that I have. Just to, like I said, one thing for me that's big is my faith. And obviously, I know there's a lot of people out there that sometimes that need those encouraging words or whatever it may
Right.
be. And that's what I'm here for. To inspire kids and show them that dreams are possible. Just when you put God first, when you work hard, that there's nothing impossible, and that's one thing that I'm really big about is helping other people, and showing them that is possible.
And you raised a great young man.
I'm blessed, man.
I-
Definitely.
honestly.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm blessed.
Thank you.
Nah, that's good. That's good. So obviously, you see yourself as a world champ.
Hopefully, yeah.
Is there anybody you want to fight right now?
Yeah, I was just. That's
I
a good
mean,
one.
honestly, whoever has the belts, I mean, obviously that's the goal. That's how you become world champ. So I believe.
Call out
anybody-
Canelo.
And I
I'm just
think-
kidding.
I think we're getting closer and closer to that. The opportunities, it's just around the corner. To be honest with you, we got
Yeah.
2 calls, 2 big fights, 2 known fighters, and we were like, let's go. We were like, we'll take it. It was gonna be a big fight, a big step up. It was gonna be dangerous for him. We knew that, but you know what? We were like, this is time now. Let's take that risk. Let's go ahead and prove to the world. This is time where you're gonna prove your hard work, your discipline doesn't matter. Nobody, you might believe that you could beat this person, but
Right.
but obviously, they thought about it and they turned it. They basically, backed away from the fight because, I mean, he has everything a fighter needs. He has footwork, head movement. A strong jab. I mean,
Yeah.
power. He pretty much, he's an all-around fighter. And I guess they say, we don't want a difficult fight right now.
Right,
Whatever
right.
it is, sometimes people they want to move away from those fights that could be dangerous.
What
Yeah.
weight are you fighting at right now?
Right now at 130.
130. Do
130,
you
yeah.
want to move up later, or do you want to stay around?
I think eventually I'm gonna have to, yeah, because I'm still growing a little bit. So yeah, I
Right.
mean, maybe 135. So
135. You don't see yourself at like 147.
I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, I think in the future, yeah, when I
Yeah.
get, yeah. So it's possible, yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
one day at a time.
It depends how his body, how, he grows into his body because,
Yeah.
Obviously, weight is a big issue in fights. You don't. He's always been the bigger guy in the ring. Like when he was at
Yeah.
122, because I mean he would shrink. His body would shrink, but he was tall, so he always had that height advantage. He was
Yeah.
always a bigger fighter. At 126, the same thing. At 130, starting to become a little bit more even. Sometimes he is, sometimes he's not. But the more you move up, it's gonna start changing. So,
And I've always said that, man. Like with fighters, on fight week when you have to like train yourself, like literally to lose that weight.
yeah.
I feel so bad, bro. They're like grouchy. They're like they don't even want to be where they're at right now. They just want to go through the weight. Yeah, the weigh-ins, and after that, eat a big old steak.
Yeah, seeing through what he has to go through, and all of the fighters that truly are dedicated to the sport, made me just respect it so much more, man. Because honestly, there's no sport like it. Like I have friends that are professional baseball players, MLB players, and they'll call me up and they'll be like, "Hey, let's go out." And I see them eating whatever they want, and drinking whatever they want, doing whatever they want right before the big game, And I'm like, man, a fighter can't do that. He has to starve himself. He has to discipline himself. He has to suffer to be able to shine the night of the fight. So it's crazy.
And that helps you out in life too. Like after boxing, because it's discipline.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure after boxing, you'll still keep that diet regimen. Not too strict, but
definitely, yeah. It's a routine. Like if you get used to it, like you said, you continue to do it after.
Yeah.
So when you spar, how hard do you guys usually spar? How hard do you like to spar hard, or how do you do that?
It depends. I think on every fighter, it depends how they come in. I'm usually somebody who likes to work. Obviously that's what sparring is about. It's about learning, about working, growing. Putting things into practice. But I think sometimes there's guys, they like to come in, crazy, or sometimes they get mad, and sometimes they even start getting dirty. So it depends on the fighter. How they're acting in the sparring.
That's when Dad comes into the ring and be like,
because they say that the sparring is where you really sometimes it's crazier than the ring than your actual fights.
Yeah.
So is there any sparring that you've done in particular where it sticks out to you, or like that was crazy, that was a tough match right there?
I think there's been a few or a lot of good ones. When I was younger, I think when I was around 16 too, I was sparring a lot of world champions too already and stuff like that. So
16, bro.
Yeah. So
tell us about it. I want to hear one.
Yeah.
I want to hear one.
Let me see. I know I've sparred with Venado.
Oh, Venado. Yeah.
That's 16.
Around there, yeah. I think.
And Venado's a beast, bro. Like he's
Venado's good.
Yeah, he's good.
I can't think off the top of my head, but yeah.
Oscar Valdez.
Oscar too. A lot of good fighters. So yeah, it's been a lot of good, great experience for sure.
Yeah, if you could tell us like a little bit about the sesh, the sparring sesh, like one of them, any of them, like just give us a little bit of example.
Talk your shit.
A lot of fighters come in here and they'll tell us, "Oh man, this one time I sparred," and they'll tell us a little bit about the sparring match that they had.
I think I don't like to say too much stuff like that. It was great work, I would say, on both sides. Great experience for me, and I think I did honestly really really good for with a lot of them with the experience and the age at the time that I had. I did really good. So it was.
You feel like
overall,
you learned a lot from those sparring sessions?
Definitely. You learn from
Whose
everybody. Different
ass
fighters.
did you kick? I could see it in you. You kicked somebody's ass in sparring. They both look at each other like, "Don't say it. Don't say that. Don't say it."
But you know what? Just the heart.
I know. I just had to throw it out there.
For sure. We're not a mole. We're not a mole. No. But the thing is, like, for example, like when he was 16 years old, he sparred with Jose Rayo Valenzuela.
Okay.
And the thing is that Jose Rayo is like, obviously he was a 135 pounder. He was probably like a 147 or something around that time in weight. My son was fighting at 122, so that's a big difference, And they had a few guys in there sparring, but then he was there on the side just watching. They were like, "Hey, come on in, just jump in." And he wasn't like, "Nah, you know what? He's too big," or not. He was like, "Let's go," and he jumped in there. And he, and I'm gonna be honest with you, he did better than some of the other people that were there.
That's good.
Who taught him that? Like to not like is that just in you, or that not being afraid to jump in the ring? Because my son boxes, and I gotta tell him, hey, if they ever ask you to jump in, you jump in. Like I said, if they ask who wants to spar, you better be the first to raise your hand. But I had to tell him that,
I think it's in the DNA, man.
So you just that just comes from you.
Naturally, yeah.
Dang,
That's awesome.
That's crazy. How old were you when that was going on? You were 16
Like
at that
16,
point?
17, around that age, yeah.
He was 16.
Dang, I like that, man.
Yeah,
You had that fighting spirit. Then you're meant to be a fighter,
definitely.
like
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm in. You know, not afraid. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
How did you feel? You feel more excited when you're called out, like, or like, oh man, okay, like I got to show them what I got, or do you get more excited, like, hell yeah, I get to do this?
It's just more of like, you know, because sometimes people like to call your bluff, you know. So it's
Right.
like when you actually go in there, sometimes they're like, oh man, like I didn't think he was gonna come in, you know. So it's just more of like, all right, like I'm down, you know. What's up?
You're like,
so,
I'm gonna give you a problem no matter what.
yeah,
Like I'm gonna at least give you a problem.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
When's your next fight?
Right now I don't have an official date, but you know, hopefully sometime early this year we'll be coming out with a date. So
When's your
we'll
next
see what's
event?
up.
We're looking toward March. We're gonna be finalizing something soon. We're gonna be announcing the fight. It's gonna be the beginning of March.
Are you gonna be on the card?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. Honestly,
Excited,
yeah,
bro.
I'm looking forward to it. You got a good, you know, outlook on life and boxing and stuff, and you're gonna go far, man.
Thank
You know,
I
keep that.
appreciate
Don't
it.
change for nobody,
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
for real.
Yeah. So, is there anything you want to tell us about the promotion company? Because I'm interested in it too, man. Like that's crazy how much you've done in a short amount of time. I don't see that a lot. Like I'm in so much different industries. I have so many different kind of people coming in here,
Right.
different businesses, and they are not popping off that quick.
Yeah.
You know that you guys like put the pedal to the metal on that.
You know what? One of the things that I've done in my life is like, whenever I believe in something or I want to do something, I jump all in.
Right.
And that's the difference. You know,
You're a
that's
hard worker
That's
too,
what
though.
people have to understand, that you can't go in thinking maybe let's see if it works or halfway done. It's like we're all in, you
Right.
know, and that's how we came into the boxing business, into the boxing world. You know, we're like we're gonna do this and we're gonna make it happen. And you know, and like my son said, you know, I'm a man of faith myself too, and I believe God opens up the doors. Like some people try to close doors on us, and you know, sometimes you have people that don't want to see you succeed. It's crazy. It's crazy. More people that don't want to see you succeed.
Oh yeah.
The people that want to see you succeed. But you know what? You know, God's always opened up the doors where we didn't see a door, you know, and
Yeah.
there was people at one point that said, oh, that's the end of Marv Nation. And guess what? We came back stronger. We came back with a DAZN contract with, you know, multiple fights on DAZN,
And the zone is the
Seen
one of
around the
biggest
world,
platforms.
yeah.
And give him a buzz on that one. That
Yeah.
was dope.
you know. So I'm not going to kid you. I'm not going to kid you.
Marv went like toma.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
You know, but I'm going to tell you this. To me, it's all, you know, it's all God. Because there was moments where I'm like, look, I don't need to be dealing with this. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I come from real estate. Real estate, I don't have no headaches. I have no problems. I make money. I enjoy my life. I'm not in all of this mess here that's going on. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
sometimes there's a lot of hating. There's a lot of people trying to, you know, just so many crazy things in boxing. And I was like, I don't need this. I'm going to step away. But, you know, before I did that, I put it in prayer. I said, Lord, if you want me to, if my job is done here, if I already did what I had to do and it's time for me to move on, I'm ready to move on. And then, you know, like a few weeks later, I get a invitation to be able to work with DAZN and on DAZN, which I have been trying to do on my own for like weeks or months or years prior to that, and it wouldn't come through. And I was like, okay, this is a sign for me to continue pushing forward. It's not the end of Marv Nation,
Yeah.
you know. And
Let's go.
we continue just to build from there, and whatever, you know, God has for us in tomorrow and the future, we're ready to go.
Dang, I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I like how you're more focused on that than the haters and like the people like trying to see your downfall, because that's never going to go away.
Yeah, no,
If anything, the bigger you get, the more people are going to be riding that.
absolutely.
And it's like, who does that? Who wants to see somebody fall? That's a weird thing to even want to see or to even do. It doesn't make any sense at all. So you know that mess, they ain't even worth your time anyways.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes people are very unhappy with their life, and they want to see everybody else unhappy. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, spitting
That's
jabs
true.
right now, for real, because that's completely true, man.
Nah, I agree.
Hey, when the trolls start coming around, you're doing something. You know, if they weren't hating on you, then you're not actually rising to where you need to be.
or many times, what it is that, like one thing I learned in this business, everybody's your friend while you have something to give them.
Yep.
The moment you don't have anything to offer them, it's like they're
Oh,
not your friends no more.
They can't even answer the phone calls no more.
They
Nothing.
become your enemies.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's because, you know, selfishness, you know. There's a lot of selfishness in the business. Like, they, you know, a lot of, I want what you have, and if I don't have it, then, you know, we're not cool.
Yeah.
You know, but we should build together.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
what's next for your company now? Where do you want to bring it now? What are you looking to do with it now?
You know what? Just continue to do what we've done, give kids opportunities to live their dreams. I live my dreams to illustrate. Like I said, I one day I said I want to travel the world and go with artists, and I did it. With some of the biggest artists that some people would only dream of getting to say hi.
Right.
I literally traveled on the same planes with them. I traveled and stayed in the same hotel. So I live my dreams because of the opportunity that I got in real estate and the people too that helped me when I started.
Right.
So for me, it's a way of giving back. It's a way of allowing others, first my kids, and then others that become like my kids.
Right.
Obviously I'm being a little bit more selective of, because not everybody has that same mentality. Not everybody, is ready for that, But we are going to continue to give kids an opportunity and to guide them in the right direction to become world champions, to live their dreams.
I like that. That's dope. And hey, if you ever need people at the event, covering it, we can do that.
Or if you ever need a fill-in for a fight, let me know.
Maybe my pro debut, man. Maybe my pro debut.
Did you used to box a lot too back in the day?
Man,
or?
people tell me all the time. I was 40-0, man, but I was 40-0 on the streets.
Yeah, that's right.
I
county.
I grew up, in LA, South Central. I went to Crenshaw High School.
Oh,
So
Oh,
in the
damn.
90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was real fighting back
that
then.
was-
The
oh, yeah,
90s
you know,
was no joke.
You had to learn how to fight, and you had to fight just to survive. So,
Yep.
I would fight almost every other day, on the streets, though.
Those are normal.
I
They
tell-
don't even know about that kind of stuff now, man. They
They
have no
don't.
idea about that.
I tell people, because people ask me all the time, were you a boxer? Why are your kids boxers? Like, were you? I was like, yeah, I was a boxer, man. I was undefeated, but my kids are smarter than me. They get paid for what they do. I did it for free.
I just did.
I did it for free. You know what I mean? I did it for free.
So the fighting blood was just in you guys, man.
Yeah,
So it seems
absolutely.
like.
It's in the DNA for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. So I'm gonna give you the floor. Whatever you want to say, you can give your shout out to where whoever you want to give shout outs to. If you wanted to go ahead and tell people where they can find you, or give people words of wisdom. Anything you want to tell, the camera's right there. You say whatever you want to say right now. The floor is yours.
Definitely. Well, first off, thank
Right
you
here,
everybody.
right here on this.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. For this podcast, you guys were able to share with us and hear our stories and things like that. Thank you guys, for also inviting us, having us here. And you guys can check us out on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at El Morenito Boxing. I'll be posting, any fight updates, training videos, things like that on there. So you guys can definitely follow me on there and check it out.
It's dope. And now I'm gonna give you the floor. So any words of wisdom, anything you want to talk about, people can find you, all that.
Absolutely. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for having us here. Thank you for the opportunity. This was great. Really enjoyed this time. For me, I would love to thank all of the fighters, all of the fans, everybody that's the Marv Nation family, everybody that comes together. Because it's not just one person. This is about me. It's a whole team. Like you don't even understand all the people involved. And obviously, I can't name everybody, but because I'm gonna leave somebody out. But thank you, everybody, the fans, the fighters, the coaches, the managers, the media. You guys, the work that you guys do, and even the trolls and the haters. Thank you guys.
Oh, we love them the most.
Because you guys, like
They're
I
our
said,
number one fans.
they give us free publicity all the time, and they
Yeah.
promote us more than anybody else.
I
But
agree.
it's everybody comes together and it all works out for good. And the only thing I can tell you is this, for all those young fighters, young people out there with a dream, don't give up. It's hard work and dedication. That's it. That's the key to success. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter, what you have. Like I said, I came from Crenshaw High School, from that neighborhood. I wasn't supposed to make it. And I've been around the world living my dreams and, thank God for his love and his mercy. But you know what? A lot of that is also understanding God's given me abilities and talents. I got to work hard, use it, and, there's nothing impossible. Believe me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like that. I did want to ask though. We didn't ask. Who was your favorite fighter growing up?
I think, like growing up, like everybody, I would say Canelo, but I know right now there's a lot of great fighters, a lot of talent. But yeah, I think growing up, I would probably say Canelo was like probably the number one.
Okay. Who was yours?
Not a bad choice at all.
For me, it was Julio Cesar Chavez, because that was the
Nice.
first fight I've ever seen was with Chavez. And all the family used to get together. Everybody used to, watching.
It was a holiday every time he fought.
I remember that Mickey Taylor.
Yeah, I know.
When he
was.
fought Taylor, that one fight where Chavez
Oh,
won in the last round. It's like, man, that moment kind of like just injected in me the love for boxing.
Never give up.
After a while, I went into real estate. I disconnected myself from all of that. I stopped watching boxing, but when I came back, it's like I saw Canelo early on in his career. Before anybody knew who Canelo was and where he was first signed with Golden Boy, I got to see a lot of his career, followed him, and that's what got me excited back into boxing.
Nice.
So now I would say Canelo.
Nice,
sure.
nice.
We did have one question, and I did. Let's see, where is it at? We have people jumping in right now too.
Cool.
Okay, so Selena Hogan says, "I'm ready to try something new this year. What's your favorite thing about boxing?" We'll go here first.
I think I would say one of my favorite things about boxing is, the training, like the sparring, all that stuff. All that stuff is fun. All the memories that you make in the gym, with the coaches and the fighters around you. All that is just it's good times. The sad thing about boxing, the thing I don't like about it is the diet. But everything else, I love it. Love it.
Well, you know what? Shout out to Selena Hogan. I appreciate the question. And do you want to answer that too as well?
Yeah, I think that what I love about boxing is the discipline. It helps you, discipline your life and everything. How bringing in exercise, getting well. Mentally, I see these kids that my son is training at the gym. They come in, some of them can't even jump rope sometimes, and they have this mentality. They walk in like they don't even want to talk, and then after a few months and even a year later, you see them in the ring sparring and moving and that confidence level. That's what I love about boxing, that it transforms your life. It gives you confidence. It gets you healthy. It just, there's a lot of good things about it.
I agree.
Yeah, I like that. And then we have another question from Selena Hogan. Just so you know, we don't know who she is. She's just from the chat.
Yeah.
It says, "Does it help with anger as an outlet?" So we'll go with you first.
Yeah, I would say it definitely does, help with anger. I have some kids who have told me that they deal with anger, stuff like that. And obviously, I've seen their growth and the way they've been maturing and changing. So I think boxing definitely does help with that. Like I said, boxing can also humble you too. So I think overall, it really is great in many aspects.
Thank you. And same thing with you.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps you because, first it's an outlet. Sometimes when you carry the anger, you don't let it out. It's when people become explosive. But, when you're in the gym, you get to release some of that anger. And at the same time, though, you're taught that if you're in the ring and you're sparring and you let the anger get to you, you're going to lose. Or, it's a weakness. So you start seeing it in a different way. Like anger, if you lose control of your anger, it's a weakness that's going to destroy you. So your mindset starts to change. You start to learn how to control that anger. Like, hey, calm down, don't get crazy, don't fall into the game. And in a way, it's kind of teaching you discipline. It's teaching you, you know what? Yeah, I'm angry, but I got to control it. I can't let it control me.
Nice.
And then we got one more question. So I wanted to ask. We'll go start with you first. So it says, why would you what would you suggest for someone to start boxing? Why would you suggest that to them? Like what can it do for them?
Many things, like we said, first I would say discipline, definitely disciplines you, gives you, like I said, boxing is very different from many other sports. You could play different sports, but boxing, you don't play boxing, number two, overall, it's great for your health, great cardio. I see a lot of people that come into the gym, with the goal, to lose weight or even just for their health, and, a couple months later, even a couple years, I see them doing great, feeling great. And it's just amazing just to see how much they're getting healthier and stuff like that. So there's many reasons and benefits of boxing.
Nice.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think it'll help you with, people talk a lot about mental health today. I think it'll help you with that. I think it'll help you with your health. There's a lot of people that are going through a lot of different things with their body because sometimes we need to work on it. And, that's something great. And at the end of the day, you know what? It might turn into somebody walking into the gym just to have fun, into a career, and then maybe into a Canelo. Maybe we'll get the next Canelo, make it 150 million. You never know.
Hey, let's go.
It can definitely transform your life. it can definitely, for sure, it'll help you physically, mentally, and then it only grows from there.
Nice.
Appreciate that. And man, I appreciate you guys coming on. You guys
thank you,
killed
thank
it,
you, thank
man.
I forgot to tell people where they can follow us.
Oh, yeah,
so,
go ahead.
Oh,
go
yeah,
ahead.
They can follow us at MarvNation _. MarvNation on Instagram, MarvNation _ You can follow us there. You'll get more information on our upcoming fights, the next fight that we're going to be announcing pretty soon. You'll get to see El Morenito on there too. You guys got his Instagram. So, let's stay connected for sure.
Let's go. Let's go.
Appreciate you guys. And our slogan is Shed the Sheep. So on 3, we're going to look at that camera and say Shed the Sheep. Ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3. Shed the sheep. Let's shout out your company too. You want to go shout out your company one more time on here? On this camera right here?
Oh, thank you everybody for connecting. Go ahead and connect with MarvNation _ on Instagram, and just follow us so you can see what's coming ahead. And anything we can do for you guys, we're here for you guys.
Appreciate you guys watching. Howls over Baaz. I'm Jacob Casas.
AJ Gonzalez.
We're gonna go over here.
Marvin Rodriguez.
El Morenito.
We appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe, and peace.